Hello Year 12s. I wanted to show you this website called CodeImbat, and I've kind of been deliberately holding off on it because you need to know a little bit about how functions work, but you don't actually need to be able to create functions. You just need to know how the return values on it work, and I think some of you would benefit from being able to do some of these exercises over the break, so I decided I'll just record a quick video showing you how to get through the functions aspect of it, because it's got a whole bunch of really good problems, some general warm-up questions. So you can see here there's about 30 different exercises. There's some, again, another 30 or so in strings set 1, and there's a couple of sets for strings. There's string set 2, string set 3. There's some arrays and list questions, some general logic questions, and so on. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of really good exercises here that I would recommend a couple of you, or probably all of you, doing some of during the break. So questions you should be able to do would be in the warm-up sets, the strings, the arrays. The logic ones, yeah, they should mostly be okay. We haven't covered anything with booleans yet. We haven't really talked about Boolean variables. Recursion, don't worry about that. HL students will cover that in later on in term 2. The AP questions, they're going to be harder. Don't worry about the map or the functional questions. So let me just kind of show you what's going on here. So if I go into the warm-up set, now the first question here, this works on Boolean, and it just uses true or falses. So a Boolean is just a variable that can contain either a true or a false value. I'll just zoom in here so you can see it a bit better. Alright, so we've got here a question. The parameter, so the way this is working, so this is giving you a function. The function is called sleeping, which is what they've created for the problem. And basically coming in, you are receiving two variables. You're receiving a true or false, so a Boolean variable, true or false, called weekday, and you're receiving a variable called vacation. And then you need to return a result. So rather than doing system.out.println, you want to, the keyword that you want is return, because you're saying, okay, my function has finished its calculation and this is the result I want to send back. In this case, it's going to be a true or false. So I won't act, because we haven't really done anything with Booleans, I'll leave this one. I'll move on to the next one, and that's also trues and falses, so I'll skip that one as well. Okay, so here's one using numbers. Given two integer values, return their sum, so add them together, unless the two values are the same, in which case return double their sum. And then the questions always give you some examples. So two numbers coming in, 1 and 2, their sum is 3, so it adds them together. 3 and 2, if those come in, you add them together and return 5. 2 and 2, so that's this special case scenario here. The two values are the same, in which case we want to return double their sum. So 2 and 2 added together is 4, double that is 8. So I'll just work through this question and show you how this works. We have an integer a and we have an integer b. So to return double their sum, right, I can just say, all right, I'm going to create an integer called result, and that's going to be a plus b. And then I can just return result. And I can test this and say go, and it will show me the values that it has tried and the one in the scenarios in which I was successful. So 1 and 2 return 3, yes. 3 and 2 adds up to 5, yes. 2 and 2 should return an 8, but I gave it a 4, and so it says no, I didn't get that. -1 and 0 adds up to -1, yes. 3 and 3, all right, adds up to 6, and it should be doubled, so it should be providing a 12, but I gave it a 6. Okay, so let's go back and fix this up, and I can just do this with an if statement. I can just say if A is the same as B, then result is equal to result times 2. I mean, there's more elegant ways I could write this out. So I can click go, and we'll see now that I get the green on all the checks, and it has told me that everything is correct, and it will allow me to move on. So the warm-up ones do have an example solution for you as well. Oh, look at that. I got something fairly similar to what they had. But the other sets do not have. So if I go into array 1 and go into the first one of those, that one's got a hint. I think the H here means that there's a hint. So if I look at sum 3, yeah, there's no hint and there's no solution there for those. The final thing I wanted to show you is if you create an account with CodingBat, you can then go into your preferences and share your progress with me. So the account that I've got in here is just pab@shartincollege.edu.hk. Right, so if you were to type that in there and then click the share button, I can then go in and see your progress through these exercises. And so I would ask that you do that. Even if you're not really intending on doing too many of these, set up the account and share it with me anyway. We'll probably come back to this a few times during the year, so anytime during the year that you're wanting extra practice, you can always just come back into it. And you can see here it's kept, because I've got an account, it's told me I've got one completed in my warm-up set here, and it's told me which one it is, so I know which ones to move on to next time I want to try one. So I'll just do a second one with you. Click makes 10. So given two integers a and b, return true if one of them is 10 or if their sum is 10. So there's two different scenarios here. So if one of them is 10, so if a is 10, then I can return true. And as soon as we have a return statement, the function will exit, and so Java will not look at any extra code. So if that's true, else if b is 10, then that's going to be returned true. Or if their sum is 10. So else if a plus b is equal to 10, then I'm also going to return true there. And then else, so if none of that has happened, let's return false. And that should be it. If I click go on that, all right, yeah, all correct. And so now when I go back to the warm-up ones, we can see I've got 2 ticks and it's told me which are the 2 that I've done. So there's some extra practice there that will come in really useful as we continue to move forward. All right, Mr. Baumgarten signing out.